Live. We're
Live.
live.
Sun
We're
Valley,
live.
California.
Well, that's where you are.
Shadow Hills, California.
I'm in a more desirable place to visit.
Yeah, you are. You're in the Sandy Monica.
So what's up? What's up with people?
Everything's
Here
a
we
mess.
go. We got Patrick, who left this comment probably 8 hours ago. James Farley, Chauncey. Okay, I'm gonna pronounce your name. Ramoga. You're officially a Ramoga. Chris James.
Cathedral City.
Angelo Kelly, it's the day I was born. That was when it was.
That happened?
It was yesterday. Uneventful. I'm not a celebrator of my birthday. You're in Cathedral City, which is, where's Cathedral City?
Isn't that down by San Diego? No.
Where's Cathedral City, Chris James? What's up, Yvonne? Piper is trapped. Actually, Piper is trapped.
Wait, do you share a birthday with Joey Ramone?
And Pete Townsend.
Shut up.
And everyone, like Vinyl, University of Vinyl Tim made a video about Pete Townsend. I demanded a video about me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you all the good people here. Here are the people who wished me a happy birthday yesterday. He did because I only told him, but he told me on my auction video I didn't put the data in the description, so I fixed it. So if people say Angelo Kelly is not helpful, he has helpful hints. Okay. Piper wished me. Tom Rashawn wished me. What? Hey, you've been gone. Where have you been, AZ Mick? I haven't seen you around anywhere. I always say a live stream's not official unless AZ Mick comments. Yes. So there are people. Yeah, thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. But I mean, I'm not especially. I think there's two types of people. People who like to have birthday celebrations and people who don't. I don't care about it. I do what I want every day. So it's my birthday every day. Right? I have no particular ties to any other human responsibility other than myself, taking care of myself. Thank you.
I do love the free birthday breakfast at Denny's, though.
No, don't get me wrong, and I didn't go to Denny's, but I do like getting the freebies for your birthday, so I sign up for a bunch. I'm not stupid.
That I believe. Hey,
thank you for the birthday. Yeah, and it's not even a big birthday, so. But I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, I'm not big on surprise birthdays. I'm not big on anything like that. It's not my deal.
I got a big one coming up. I'm going to be 79.
Ooh.
Inches?
10 years. I'll never be 79 inches. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, I'm not a good gift. Don't give gifts to me. It's not my thing.
Look what this is. It's getting the full Kermis.
I hope you're happy with it.
Oh, he's going through the Kermis process, which is stick it in, take it out, rub it down, stick it back in.
It's getting the full Kermis, kids.
Well, whatever.
Hey, you haven't had the coffee yet. Kermis.
Hey, I got some albums, but one I want to show that has been very desirable and just came in. What are you crying about?
Oh, Angelo.
Don't pay him no mind. If you're a jazz person, this has been a very desirable album for people. The OG version, it came out in '74, I think, has been like a 80 to 100 and something dollar record, but they just reissued it and it sounds excellent. I highly recommend it. This Benny Maupin, and I went to go see him perform this album, the whole album, live last year. So I stuck the inside is the program from the event, the show, right here. Benny Maupin played it. So this is very typical. This is like ECM, what ECM is to me. It's spiritual, ambient jazz. It's really good. So highly recommend it.
Good morning, everybody.
A lot of people have been waiting for this world record. So
a lot of people or people.
Yep. Yeah, no, seriously. You can always tell because my Instagram is mainly me posting records I find. And you can tell by how many people like it. It's like my 140 likes. That's high for me. So
could have just been your birthday too, though.
No, I got it on Friday. It came out on Friday. Yeah, no, it's an excellent album. It really is. I think mainly because like his stuff later, he fell into more of the funky kind of jazz 70s. This is different. And when you see him play it live, you know what? When you go see someone who knows how to play a bass clarinet, which I took pictures of him playing, like you can't hold it. You have to sit down. It's so gigantic. That's a pretty impressive instrument to see people play. So, hold on. What's up? Okay, I think the reason I take all my Instagram pictures with me holding the record, which a lot of people do, by the way. I am not the only one. I did not invent that. But I somehow remember hearing when I got into all this that people on Instagram would steal people's pictures and post them as their own. Well, if I have my big fat thumb in my picture, it's mine. And Harry's Harry's a novice kind of a hand detective. He can tell.
I do little videos. I don't do the.
Everyone does videos. I'm talking to me, Instagram at its best is a picture social media platform. Hey, wow. You know, my thumb, showing a thumb, I don't know how many people get the heebie-jeebies from thumbs, but feet could go either way. Yeah, there it is. Actually, Harry has conversations with his thumbs when he's alone.
Yeah.
But feet, man, feet are very divisive.
What the hell's going on at your house, man?
I know.
Thumbs up.
So get that album, everyone. Herc, once a year. You did it. You had a comment. Here's Mr. Feet. See, it's covered up, and it's still offensive.
I just made $1,000 doing that.
Hey, here's another thing, and I don't know if other people go through this with their vinyl collecting. I have records I've acquired a long while ago that I have not cleaned and listened to. So here's one I did yesterday, and this is, talk about divisive, but this is the original. This is a German pressing of the original release. And in fact, the mastering is Ted Jensen, who I think is the U.S. mastering. And this is a great sounding record. And I think more recent versions are 2 LPs. This is only 1. And they fit a lot of music on both sides. It sounds excellent. This is a great sounding record.
I think they added some of the songs for the other.
Yeah. I've seen Eric Clapton.
That's a great record. It just got overplayed so much, and but it's a good record.
He had the hit song, Tears.
Yeah, that's when his son fell out the window and he wrote the song, and it was emotional. Yeah, but it's
I'm not a fan of post heroin Clapton.
Is that the double one?
I understand that.
This is the original.
Yeah.
And then this is And to
is
be
that-
honest, I don't hear any difference between the two. I really don't.
so
Right.
that goes with my feeling. If it was a really good, well recorded album,
I think it's a digital recording too. Anyway,
It's a
well,
great
probably,
album.
but probably.
I like the version. I like the laid back version of Layla. You know,
Yeah.
That this isn't. This is the German label. Is it different than the American?
Did it actually come out in the U.S.? I thought it was only in Europe at the time on vinyl.
No, this.
no,
This
it came out
is
in
the EU.
Yeah, EU. You see, it only came out in vinyl. That's the time when those records for Reprise, like the Neil Young records, Sleep with Angels and stuff, were only coming out in Europe.
Different
mostly
label
German.
though.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. You mean this box set?
Did you open it?
Oh yeah, I opened it.
So what comes in that?
This is the Super Disco.
All right, wait. We have to introduce that. So apparently, in the early '70s, Frank Zappa got the idea. I'm going to shoot a TV show and try and sell it to somebody,
Right.
and it never came. It never came out because why didn't it ever come out?
I believe there were technical difficulties. They couldn't sync.
What happened? They had sync problems. It wouldn't
Yeah.
sync up. He tried
They
3
couldn't sync it
times
up.
too, and they always fucked up the syncing.
So
How can you tell with Zappa?
Hey,
Hey, I listened to Absolutely Free last night just because of you.
It's a good record.
Good record. It is a good
Yeah,
record.
it is.
Calling
It
me
is.
vegetable. Come on.
What would you do, Daddy? What would you do, Daddy?
That
Yeah.
you can't even do anymore.
You couldn't even do that shit today. She was only
But
13
anyway,
and she knows
this-
how to nasty.
This has 3 LPs that are picture discs, and it's got 2 CDs and 1 Blu-ray, and then it has
Well, wait. The vinyl in there are picture discs.
yes.
I mean, what the fuck is with that?
Yeah, that's
Shut
not
the
good.
front, hey, shut the front door.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not sure I like that kind of language this early in the morning.
I mean, come on, really?
Shut up.
I thought Zappa was all about audio
Well,
quality
he's dead,
sound.
so it doesn't really matter.
This
I
just
agree.
one-
I agree. That's
Come
really
on,
dumb.
man.
Making those.
No,
Come
That
on.
pretty
automatically
cool.
made that box a non-buy. Get
That's the
CD
wrong
versus
audience
Blu-ray.
for making picture discs, in my opinion.
No,
Obviously, they
no.
gear that towards the fan, the true fan, the collector.
Doesn't sound any different, guys. Doesn't sound any different.
Not anymore. They don't.
Although I will be buying the 3 black records. Okay.
But
We
so
call them
they have
African
hold
American
on.
now.
So they have a non-picture disc version,
yes,
but it doesn't come in any kind of box.
I believe it does come in any kind of box.
It doesn't come in a
This is-
super deluxe
It's very
box.
complicated. I'm telling you, this is the Super Disco. You can only get this from Zappa.com.
Hold on. I think I know Jim. Jim, did you know they had picture discs when you bought it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just checking.
But it also has. Whoa!
Yeah, they do
What
sound
the-
better than they used to. But
What
it's
the
still-
heck is all this stuff?
Oh,
Oh no! And no one else gets this unless you
Oh,
get the picture.
hey,
disc.
Jim is in
Wait.
the Frank Zappa army.
Is there vellum? Is there any vellum?
I don't know what vellum means.
You're in the
I've heard
printing
vellum.
business. You're in the printing
Vellum.
business. You know,
Look at
vellum.
that.
Vellum is a protective
It's
separation.
Look at that.
it's a clear paper you
those
can
are
print
cool.
on. You can
That's
No.
for the collector, right there. That's for the fan.
So how
Look at that
long?
shit.
How
Man,
long is-
come on.
How long is the program that's on the Blu-ray? And does the
That's a
Blu-ray
good
have
question.
other things on it too?
That's a great question. I do not know. But I
The
can give
Blu-ray
you.
has
there's-
all the Blu-ray has all the music though, right?
But listen, he doesn't know the specifics of this, but he knew it had picture discs.
Listen, the Blu-ray. I don't even have a Blu-ray player. Okay, so
I'm going to give Jim the benefit of the doubt because if I bought the Uber box and the Mind Games Cube, I get it.
yes, exactly. Shut up. So
I
this
still
is-
don't know what's in that box.
Do they
completely.
You should've
sell?
watched-
Now. So yeah, the Blu-ray is.
Do they sell the Blu-ray separately?
They sell the CDs separately. They probably do sell the
I think the
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray is separate.
You can buy the 3 CD.
I'd be interested. I'd be
Jim-
interested in watching the program.
Yeah,
Jim,
it's got,
are you annoyed by Rob's constant interruption? when you're trying to explain this box set?
You know,
The
if I was
thing
trying to,
is
if I
that
wanted any words out
I
of you,
don't hear Rob's
Harry,
voice.
I would draw a
Just
picture on my phone.
send it right out. Yeah, I don't hear him. I don't hear him. But anyways, yeah, there's extra
Is that your big
bonus
toe?
material. Their audio is you can got the audio in Atmos
Okay,
if you want it.
Tom says, yeah, this is right. You got to learn. It's funny.
Yeah,
You're terrible at YouTube. You
yeah,
got to
take
show
things-
up the contents, and so we can see it.
Yeah, take things out of the box.
You're gonna read this shit?
Oh, now you got plastic. You
Yeah.
got
No,
to
I'm not taking that off.
okay, but tilt it away from the light. Come on, learn something about the presentation. You tilt it and you keep
Where's
it
the
steady.
big white sticker on the
You
front of
keep
the
it
box?
steady. Jesus, you guys are like, for instance.
Oh, it's got a big black sticker.
For instance, take this disco record. You just hold it and keep it still.
Hey guys,
Like that.
It's-
You don't go like
yeah.
this. You don't go like that. You just
Disco boy.
exactly. You keep it steady. It
Okay,
looks like a cheap 70s.
and
TV show.
7. Okay,
Can I ask how much that box set costs?
for anyone reading that, I don't want to discuss in
Oh,
public,
yeah, we want to know the price.
including shipping.
Yeah,
This I think was 179.
that's not bad for a box.
No, and you could only get it from Zappa.com. It's not universal. You know, like I say, it's the Super Disco. You can also get the
Jack said he bought
the
Jack said he bought the same version, but with black LP.
Listen to Jazz Bum
Yeah.
Mike here.
The
Come
only
on.
difference is I think mine has a couple of portraits or something. Really not worth it.
Now, how many did they make of the picture disc version?
There's limited to as many as they can sell.
Well, things like
I
that.
don't
They'll
Hey,
only
they're
do
only
one,
in it for the money.
but they'll only do one
Right.
pressing of something like
Well,
that. With all the collating.
They'll never sell out.
Well, hold on. They bought the Zappa estate, or they bought his
They
library.
bought
did?
Zappa. Yeah.
Who did?
They
Who
bought
did?
it
Universal
Universal.
bought it like 3 years ago, Jim.
3-4
For
years ago,
how much?
something like that.
$150 million.
I don't
So
know.
Gail's not involved in this at all?
Yep.
She's dead.
Gail's,
She's literally
Gail's-
dead.
she's
Harry.
Oh,
completely
did she
dead.
die?
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
Actually, they bring her to events like Weekend at Bernie's.
And yet there's still lawsuits against Dweezil.
Well, the
But
kids-
Yeah.
oh, hold on. Here's the deal from my perspective, because Jim has taken me to some events.
Listen, Loki.
The 3 years they've owned his archives or whatever, it seems like they've made their money back because they've done some pretty interesting releases. Like they haven't done all of them, I assume, Jim, but they've done his albums in Dolby Atmos
Yeah.
mixes.
Ooh,
I think
Dolby
they've done-
Atmos.
I mean, as someone who's not an
The 6
avid
people
collector,
that have it.
as someone who's not an avid collector of a particular artist and
Thanks,
everything
Fluffy.
they put out,
You're making it
from a side view of how they're releasing stuff when these big firms take over this, the Zappa, they're doing it pretty well, I think. So
I
I,
like
assume
that.
they
What-
made their money back already.
I love
Can
the
I
version,
put
even
in-
though it's not
Can I
extra.
give my 2 cents?
I
Yes.
love their overnight sensation.
Hold on. Let Jim talk. What's your 2 cents?
So my 2 cents is this. Before Gail died, they were still working with Universal.
Gail's dead?
And they were the main guy was this guy by the name of Joe
Yeah, she
Travers.
didn't send me a text.
And Joe Travers was working with Gail, releasing Frank's shit. And then when they sold it to when Gail died, and I guess they sold it before she died. I don't know. They sold everything to Universal, and Travers went with it to Universal. So he's still been kind of the guy in charge of all this. So there's been no, glitches, no weirdness. Everything they put out is done right, in my opinion. I mean,
They believe in it because they're actively doing publicity to promote these releases.
and it's good shit. It's good. I'm
Yeah.
a fan, man, and it's decent stuff. It really
Now,
is.
Jim,
It's not way
Jim,
over
I
my-
forgot to send you
It all-
these. I was going to send these and I couldn't find them, but I'll send these at a later date.
What you talking about, Willis? Oh, okay, cool. I love that.
He doesn't have a cassette player. He gave it to his son.
Hey, Jim, did
Yes.
all the kids get a cut of the buyout or just?
Well,
Emmett?
here's the rub. Gail is
Yeah,
kind of a
bitch.
witch. And
I know
set
she
things up.
You fucked
She
up the
set it
kids.
up.
I know.
Ask
set
him
it
a
up
question
where-
and let him answer it.
No, she set it up so that the 2 younger kids got 60%, the older kids got 40%.
Oh, well,
And
that's not bad. I mean, I thought it was like
well, it worked out to where immediately the younger kids told Dweezil to stop touring under the name of Zappa Plays Zappa.
Why?
That was
Because he
before
felt
the
it was-
wasn't it
He
before?
felt it was diluting the brand. This
What?
is when Gail died and Amit became the executor of what's going down.
Why is that polluting the? I don't understand that.
Whatever
I'll get
happened
it
to
either.
Moon? You don't hear about Moon anymore.
Well, she
at
just
all.
had
Yeah, she wrote, no, you do. Hold on, Harry.
He just
As
wrote a
not a
book.
big Zappa person, last year she wrote a book and she did a huge publicity tour.
She was on all the YouTube channels.
Yeah, she was
like-
on everything.
I probably could have interviewed her. It was that type
Yeah.
of thing, you know? She was on a lot. She
Yeah.
even went on her
Super
went on-
interesting
she
family
went on-
shit.
Amet's podcast.
She went. What's the guy? That comedian, the stand-up.
That's
Joe
just like
Rogan?
Azzy said, Mark Moran.
Oh yeah, Mark Moran. Yeah, that's her
Moran,
ex-boyfriend.
yeah.
That's her ex-boyfriend. Anyway,
God.
it's a Greek tragedy. The way the family was.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
really fucked up.
if Mike Jazzbum here, since I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm getting these pop-ups for Substack every couple hours
Because
because
you
of
signed up for it. You signed up for it.
but not.
Me too.
Turn off the notifications.
Yeah, I need to do that. I don't even know these people. Absolute legend over on Herb Sunday, Tony
Well,
Barnes.
wait till the Boomer Scalper Substack is up and running. You'll start getting those.
Are you doing
I
one?
signed up for this Substack, and now I'm getting all kinds of stuff. This is the guy that ran Cellophane Square Records in Seattle for decades.
And what was that? A record store?
Yeah, it was really good used store on the avenue.
Hey, Rob, Vinyl
Yes.
Piper has a question. I don't know what he's talking about, so enlighten us.
Okay. Apparently, an elephant got in the room. No. So, if anyone knows the really very good reissue label Now Again, who kind of specializes in hard to find records, and they do a really good job of reissuing them, and they sound pretty good, and they're at good prices. So they have I guess their headquarters is here in LA, and they have a gallery, and they once a month will do a pop-up with record dealers, and you can also go buy discounted of their catalog that they have to sell. So on Saturday, this past weekend, I think both days, they had a seller from New York who specializes in Brazilian vinyl,
Waxing.
and he brought in his collection. Jim and I went by, and I know nothing, very little about Brazilian music. There's a handful of people I know who they are, but the vast amount of the records that were there, I had no hide or hair. But what I do have is I have Felipe. So I took pictures and sent them to Felipe, and his general take was all that stuff was overpriced. And some records that I sent him, he kind of leaned that they're not horribly hard to find. So definitely probably in the US they're hard to find. So what I did buy is I bought 2 Now and Again reissues, and I did pick up their record store day release, this Zamrock record of Chrissy ZB Tempo and the
That's supposed
Nogzy
to be
family.
really good. Have you listened to it yet?
So I listened to it. So, and here's the kick-ass thing about Now Again. In each of their releases, they give you a very well done booklet with great liner notes. So you learn in good pictures. So from what I understand now, Mazzy, I know, has that Zamrock box, and he probably knows 10 times. He definitely knows more than me about this stuff.
I don't really know much. I don't know the history and the whole
Well,
thing. I know enough.
Apparently, this, like, they were the Zamrock people.
Yeah,
the albums, they weren't a lot pressed, and I don't know if they weren't really distributed outside of Zambia. But this is a trio, and it's fuzzy garage style rock with that kind of, to me, it had like an African beat throughout it. What I know of African music, so like Dollar Brand, like in jazz, I know more of that stuff. But this is pretty good, and it's really well done. I assume they found a minty copy to use and to make the thing, but it sounds really good.
Well, that's good. Like Analog Africa. You know damn well they don't have the tape, so that's stuff. And they put out excellent records. They sound great for what they are. They have booklets inside. They're well curated. Yeah. Great design.
Now, I'm more familiar with Now Again, their jazz releases. Now, they did a couple boxes with Von Me Please. They did a Zamrock box. I don't think this is in the Zamrock box, this record. But and they also did the Tribe box. And you can buy the Tribe releases individually. So this is the Southern University Jazz Ensemble. They put out 2 albums. This is a double album, and it's basically spiritual jazz. Southern University is a historically black college in Louisiana, and the guy who led this is part of that New Orleans. John Baptiste, I think it's either his uncle or grandfather, Alvin Baptiste. And this is excellent. This is great spiritual jazz, really well done. And again, has a booklet in it. I highly recommend their stuff. It's really good. So,
speaking of hard to find records, when I sell at the record shows, that's all I take. People say, "Do you have any hard to find records?" I said, "Yeah, none of them are alphabetized."
You're such a, Harry. I like. Finally, you said that with a deadpan face. It's still not very funny, but for you it is. Hey, based on Harry's scale, it's funny.
I have not been disappointed by a Now Again release that I've bought.
How was your record crawl yesterday?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we did. Okay. I was going to just say this. We celebrated Rob's birthday yesterday. The doc and I. Yeah, we celebrated your birthday. We weren't with you.
I had no knowledge of this. I didn't have a warm sensation in my hand or nothing.
He
came here.
You had one in your pants.
I haven't seen the doc in a few months, and he's up to Seattle. Obviously, there's some medical things with his wife, and there's visiting a thing here. I won't get into that, but it was good to see him. And they're going through a lot collectively. And so we had lunch at Babar, which is it's Vietnamese street food, but it's a great bar and restaurant, and it's like garlic crab noodles and all these great things. So we had lunch there, and then we went to we only went to 2 record stores. We went to the little one. Oh God, what's it called? It would be a record store that Harry and Wax wouldn't like. I don't always like it, and I have no idea how they make any money. It's Capitol Hill on 12th. They have a lot of avant-garde and experimental stuff. Wall of Sound, that's what it's called.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be your thing. I mean, they have some used stuff, but they must own the space, like the loft space, the corner space, but it's in a great area. So I don't know how they make it, but it's been there since I lived here. But then we went over to Daybreak. I didn't really buy anything, but I kind of hung out, and we hung out for a couple hours. It was great seeing the doc, and we did acknowledge Rob on his birthday. And we had a toast.
There was no benefit to me from this.
No, there was no benefit, but in spirit, we were there, and we missed you, Harry, so much. But that was it. It wasn't a big record crawl. It was.
You didn't go to Sonic Boom?
No, we didn't.
I thought you were supposed to meet there.
Well, we ended up meeting for lunch at this place, which is in Capitol Hill, which is way on this side. Like he's way across town. Like we're the furthest from each other where we live or stay. He has a place there on Lake Union. So
Light in the Attic, everything's like 40% off, huh?
at their pop-up. It's not a pop-up. It's a permanent, but it's almost like a pop-up.
I'm gonna be real. I bet I went there. Wasn't really that impressed by it.
Well, it's not Rob's kind of store because it's the used
It's just
stuff.
their releases.
No, it's not just releases.
Even
Mostly.
with Light in the Attic releases, I wasn't.
Well, when you
impressed.
went there, no, they had a ton. They had all the Betty Davis stuff, all the
Not when I was there.
Well, you were there 2 years ago. Okay, they actually stopped within 2 years. Okay, a year. Anyway, it's not just their stuff. They have record store day stuff left over that was 40% off, like the belly out. I mean, there was a lot of basic releases, a lot of ambient, a lot of metal, a lot of hip hop, a lot of punk.
With Daybreak.
So they have a lot of stuff. But it's another 10, 11 days to go, then they're closing. They're opening a place, I don't know if they have yet, in Austin, in some kind of music venue with a bar or cafe or something. So they're not out of business, just that one little pop-up.
Sub Pop's got a store at the airport.
I'm not in my 60s, dude. You be there by yourself. I'm not on the downslope yet. I'd let you know. Thank you.
Yeah. So I bought some reissues, and I bought like a reissue of the Wire album, which I never got on vinyl. That post-punk album, Pink Flag, and it was sealed, so it was like a $30 record. I got 40% off, and I got Lee Hazelwood and a few other things.
Light in the Attic is closing their store, DJ. Did Dr. Robert buy anything?
It's nothing to do with their general business. It's just this one, I think people don't think about it going there as a record store. There's a cafe there. It's a great space. KEXP radio.
To me, it kind of came off as like a publicity thing.
Well, I'm sure part of it is. Yeah, it's a little bit of that.
You know who else did that for 5 minutes was what's that punk label up there in Seattle?
Sub Pop?
They had a little retail thing going.
Well,
Sub Pop has a store in the airport. They have a store in the airport.
Sub Pop has a store in the airport. And
now they've got a store in the airport.
No, it's been there for years.
It's a great store too, because they sell a ton of merch, like T-shirts and sweatshirts, and
that's what they sell.
And they don't just carry Sub Pop label stuff, so it's actually a really good store, not a used store. So but it's a good grab for your kids, grab for your boyfriend, girlfriend between flights. They have
one cool thing about Daybreak. One nice thing about Daybreak is that you'll never find record collector news in there. You won't have to be bothered with that shit because they specifically asked me to stop sending it.
Why? That's my favorite store.
Hold on, Harry. Bite your tongue.
Go in there and ask for record collector news.
Never say why to Jim, because he'll tell a story he's told many times.
The guy's a good guy.
He has an LA Dodgers tattoo. He thinks they saw it.
No, that was Mississippi.
They hate LA.
Jim, let me ask you this: does Jive Time carry it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, RJ, who opened 10 years ago now, Daybreak or whatever, maybe not quite 10. No, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, he for 15, 18 years worked at Jive Time.
So for 15, 18 years, whenever record collector news would show up at Jive Time, he'd go, "Ooh, that fucking piece of shit." No, I don't know.
I look at Daybreak as like our version of Record Safari. And not on that level, of course, like Record Safari, but similar, and they get good stuff.
Record Safari, the big advertiser supporter of Record Collector News, the guy that buys the front cover at Record Safari.
Every time I go in there, I'll ask for it.
Daybreak, I think they have a lot of. They have their wall records, not a lot, not like Safari, and they're not a lot of. Every once in a while, there's a high-end thing, but even their wall records aren't crazy high. I don't buy that.
They're fair.
And they have a lot of like their catalog stuff, whether it's boomer stuff or punk or metal, are really reasonable for an urban Seattle store. And they go through a lot of stuff. A lot of his records are clean, considering they're used. They're not that smelly, musty, moldy, scummy stuff. And they have a lot of, under the bin where Rob likes to go down on his knees.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cheap stuff, cheap heat. It's a nice little shop.
Hold on. Even on my knees, I'm taller than most people. So
You
I
are.
sit down.
You are. You totally are.
I get
And
down.
it's not
I
that
sit
you
down
wear
on the-
shorts. You're wearing regular pants. They just come up to you above your knees.
Yes, thank you. I sit down on the ground. I just like
Some people,
makes me feel like I'm earning my records.
that video I did yesterday was such a clickbait thing about I'm not buying, but I'm really not. I'm just at the point. There are going to be exceptions, and I said
Mazzy,
mostly.
if you find a record you've been looking for, you will buy.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I'm not the thing is I'm not looking for any records. And the thing is, all those old classic records that maybe worth something that I bought them at retail $3, $4, $5. I bought them new.
And yet you give me shit all the time about not buying new music.
I buy new music, but it's new record, new music.
Hey, Rix, you're allowed to read your comment before you post it, okay? Just letting you know. All right?
Hey, I'm learning from the best in terms of clickbait. Every once in a while, you got to throw. If you want to be successful on YouTube, no matter who the fuck you are, you got to do a clickbait like thing. Now, but the thing is, I wasn't lying. I'm really not. I don't need all that stuff. And when I was going through the Dizzy collection, I would bring stuff in my record library to kind of go through it, to organize it. And that air purifier would automatically kick into high, the red circle.
Well, hey, I just made, I learned something from the internet, and it's so simple. You say to yourself, how come I didn't figure that out? I turn my box fans into air purifiers. That's basically what an air purifier is.
It's
a fan.
You need a filter. Do you have a filter in them?
Right. So you go buy those AC unit filters, those 20 by 20, and I strapped them onto my box fans with a bungee cord, and voila, you've made an air filter, probably better.
And there you go. There you go.
The other one. So for under $40,
waxed.
Yes.
If you want to make big views in YouTube, you need to say, I made a $600 air purifier for $40 hack.
Well, when the fires happened, I went and bought a little small one, and I thought I did right. For less than that one, you turn a box fan with a filter, you've made it a better air filter than Auric or whatever.
Frank, I have with a Coair, COWAIR or COAIR. I said it in that video yesterday, whatever it was. I think it's Coair. I have one upstairs and one downstairs. Oh, by the way, I totally made a mistake and I fucked up and I got called on it when I mentioned yellow. Instead of saying Yellow Magic Orchestra, the YMO, the Japanese, and I know it. In my mind, I was thinking Yellow Matter Custard, right? And I kept saying Yellow Matter Orchestra. Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking.
Here's the great thing. Okay, Mazzy, did you do this because you didn't reshoot it?
No.
Did you blurb up across?
No, because I didn't know I said it until the comments. Sometimes that's the way my mind works. You say things, you think you're saying the correct thing. It's like it's a form of dyslexia I have.
It's
I know Yellow Magic Orchestra. I know the music. I know the name. And twice I said like Yellow Matter Custard. But I think they pull that from the Beatles a little bit.
So how does that make you feel when you fuck up like that, Mazzy?
I like when people when people call me out, correct me, I think that's the greatest thing. I like it. It's when they're assholes about it that I don't like it. So nobody was really an asshole, but they had the rolling eyes. All Harry knows
is Yellow Magic Underpants.
Yeah. Yellow Matter Custard. Yellow Magic Custard dripping from a dead dog's eye.
You're so hurtful, Rob.
Rob is
Yellow Maga Orchestra. There you go.
That's the kind of way Harry acts when he fills his Yellow Magic Underpants.
Dripping from a dead dog's eye. Semolina Pilcher.
Hey, I have some other records I'll show that I picked up.
Zappa did a great version of I Am the Walrus.
Did he really?
So here's something interesting that I learned because I had a copy.
It's interesting.
I know there was a big debacle like 2 years ago when they reissued this and the pressings were horrible and it sounded bad. But I didn't realize how many different, I have Dark Side of the Moon. And I know like in 1983, there were literally 11 different pressings of that album. There's so many different pressings, and I didn't know, like, each pressing plant kind of had their own mastering engineers there. So on this version, and I know when Mike Dingrove did a shootout video of this, like, he labeled the American version, but there were different American versions in 1977. And this one has a guy's name in the dead wax. He only did it on one side, Barry Owens. And I think he was worked out of the Carrollton, Georgia pressing plant. So I went and looked, and there's a Hoffman thread about Barry and another woman. But people say that these Barry cuts, and I don't know if PB Thou's listening, but the Barry cuts sound good. And this sounds better. Well, I put my other version in the auction. And also, a confusing thing is this barcode was on the 77 pressing, which I guess that's when they started putting barcodes on records.
That's early. Wow.
Yeah. So this sounds great. These Barry cuts, Barry Owen.
You should reach out if he's watching. Hey, Tim, University of Vinyl. If you're watching, you need a profile on the Barry cuts of records. Tim's the guy to do it.
From the cover of that, you would think it's industrial music.
I love that cover. I think it's a great cover.
So, but this is good. If find the Barry cuts, not Dingleberry, Harry. So, okay.
But I think he changed his name. He changed his name. If you look later, they're all the Baroque cuts.
No. So this is an album I've been looking for, this Illinois Jaquette with Kenny Burrell. I think it originally came out on Prestige, but I found the Alto version. And if anyone doesn't know Alto Analog, they were European analog reissuer. This is from the late 90s. So I don't know if people were really doing, I guess Chad's was early 90s, but this sounds excellent. Obviously, they're using their own labels, but this is very good. So I know later on, I've seen some Steeplechase reissues that Alto did that are good, but this is good. And then Charles Taylor, who's a free jazz saxophonist. This might be his cheapest record you could find, but this is a live album he did for a radio station in Baltimore in 1979. And this label actually is a Maryland record label, Adelphi Records, but they had a jazz division. And most of the stuff I find on that label is very good. So,
Rob, put Oakenshield's comment up there and see if anybody knows the answer.
Okay, let's see. I don't know. Go watch the documentary. Go watch the documentary.
I have the book. I think I need to do. Someone sent me another copy of that hypnosis book, and I think I'll do it a giveaway on a whatnot when I do it because it's a great book, and they didn't put their name on it. Who sent it to me? All the complete.
Hey, did you get that book I sent you? I mean, if you've already got it, just send it back.
Which book would that be, Harry?
The hypnosis book.
Dad jokes for the uninitiated. Yeah. Oh.
That's a thing I would like to learn more about, like different presses in the U.S. across. Obviously Barry did the mastering for that pressing. I don't know if they were. So
that's weird. They actually did the mastering in house. They did the mastering.
Pretty unusual. I think
that is unusual.
Okay, so if his name's in the dead wax, that doesn't means he's mastering it, or he
probably mastered it. What? He cut it. He cut it to bone. Doesn't mean he worked at the pressing plant though. But it is. If it's a different mastering, that's interesting. I didn't know that. But I believe you. We're not calling you a liar, Waxed.
No, no, you're not calling me a liar. But it's very rude. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is rude. It's rude to celebrate my birthday when I'm not even there. That's what it's for.
No,
Hold
but
on,
you
I'm
know,
gonna pull up.
you know, you have in memorial. You think, oh God, I remember my friend, my late friend, Rob the Waxed, is in.
What?
He's late.
He might be pregnant.
So I'm gonna go into Discogs for animals, just to say
I'm sure there's a ton.
no. But here's what my whole point of doing this. Let me.
And because of that record, because it actually did well, but not as well as they had been doing with Wish You Were Here in Dark Side. That's why they made a disco record after that. Basically,
Yeah.
Animals is not my favorite by any
that's
means.
why they brought a producer in. In fact, was it Roger brought the producer in?
Hold on. Look, we're
They
here
didn't
in
wanna do
animals.
singles.
Here's what I want to do. So I'm gonna go in here, make this bigger. Okay. Let's go down and look at how many pressings were in 1977 in the US. It was hard. It wasn't easy to find this version in here. Hold on.
What are you on, an old
No,
version?
what you know what? I didn't do what I usually do. I figured out I'm a big tab opener person. And when you open a lot of tabs, it drains. Somehow it doesn't work well with StreamYard. So let's do this. And then when I'm done with it, I'll go back and fix my tabs. Okay. So let's just do 1977. 10 pressings in the US in 1977. So let's see how many of them are the same. So the first pressing is this one. There's a DJ copy only, Terre Haute, Pittman, Santa Maria. And it doesn't even list specifically the Carrollton pressing. So who mastered this one? Are you guys with me, or are you just listening to me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, no one's interrupting you.
Well, I don't know how slow I'm going. So I don't know who did this one. Who did this? It doesn't say, right?
Does it have the notes? Look in the notes. Oh,
manufacturer.
It's only as accurate as the person that put it up there.
Right. I don't have every version of the album. I only have 2 different ones. This is the one I have in my auction, I believe. So the notes say
Breakfast King's got some good jokes this morning.
Well, it's usually about Joan arbitrating. I don't care to. How about you take the day off? That's your birthday gift to me, Paul. Let's look at the Terre Haute. If there was a specific mastering engineer for this,
Isn't it Terre Haute?
Terre Haute.
Haute.
Shouldn't the Hooches stop their touring right now?
Well,
yes.
You know, it all comes down to Roger Daltrey wants his drummer from his band, and that's all he wants.
Is that what it is? I haven't been reading. It's just so ridiculous.
Whatever it is, they're a bunch of old ladies, and they've really handled it well.
Oh, this one's mastered at Customax.
No offense to old ladies.
It's sounding like
okay. Mastering the stampers of regional
Terre
including it says all of them in Carrollton. Okay, Dom Mills, plant manager. Okay, this is going so well right now, but it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me, all that stuff.
Well, that's all that matters. It's your show.
No, it's interesting because we fell into a world now where people are defining the better sounding pressings, and it's usually connected to the mastering engineer. But I don't know. I thought there was 5 guys, 6 guys who did them. Then they sent the plates out to each of these plants and they pressed them. That doesn't seem to be the case.
Wait. Where's the drummer joke?
There's a million drummer jokes. I mean,
so my feeling is this Bobby cut sounds better.
It's amazing how many drummers get fired right before they become big or right before they record their first record.
What was the last thing the drummer said before he got fired? Hey guys, want to play one of my songs?
Unless you're Don Henley. Unless you're Don Henley.
Pay him for the
There you
pizza.
go. Or Mick Fleetwood.
Hey, did you hear about the
Oh,
drummer?
yeah,
who
that was
finished
good,
high
man. We
school?
did I did a fun interview on the Marty in Oregon
That
show.
was good. That was a good interview.
I did watch it.
I told
the
stories
Barry-
number.
You sound
It's
like
the
you
Barry-
used to be in the porn business.
I put the LA Weekly in the porn business at the right time, at the right place.
Right.
I went to all those.
The back pages of like the LA Weekly, the Bay Guardian, SF Weekly,
We called it the adult section.
Wait. How did we get into talking about Pink Floyd Animals and then the porn?
because Jim
porn's
likes
more
it,
interesting.
because Jim likes it animal style.
There you go. It's
That's
like
what he
the
asks
sheep.
for when he goes in and out. Gives
And
a
there
whole
was
new
this-
meaning to in and
I
out.
was
And
I was
they're the ones
walking
that
down
have
the
animal
street-
style.
I was walking down the street with Rob the other day, and we came across a sheep.
Yeah,
With its
you
head.
know. Hold on.
Stuck in its
Hold
head.
on. I'm
Couldn't get out.
hold on, Jim. Someone in the vinyl community said to me, "Oh, I saw Jim interviewed by Marty on the video," and Jim started telling his stories, and the person goes, "Oh, that's story number 7.
Yeah.
That's story number 9."
Yeah.
Okay, this has
I told
inspired me to
stories
make
number
a video.
32, 7, 18. There was 1.5 news stories out of 7.
This inspired me to make a video, 10 bands without didn't have drummers. You know, that would be a good, I'd have to figure it out.
Didn't have
No,
drummers.
you should do 9 bands.
Why?
Be different.
Because, or 11. Yeah. But
11.
Keep trying, Arnie.
Would they have a drum machine or a keyboard?
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Taking care
I
of
mean,
that? How about no bass too?
well, I can make my own rules if
More
I make a
Chiba.
video, so, you know. Well, no bass is like the Doors, except they had a bass on the record and, you know,
Well, a lot of the bass was on the keyboard, right?
not on the records, but on live, yes. They had actual bass players on most.
You
of
know,
them.
this is going to cause a controversy, I'm sure. But for me, the Doors do not stand up well over time. A lot of the music.
No, that does.
The only one that does for me is LA Woman. Everything else to me sounds dated.
Oh, I disagree, but
No.
that's fine. That's fine. We
How
can
about
disagree.
Soft Parade?
Based on the
No,
fact
it's my least
that,
favorite.
based on the
It's
fact that
pretty
Rhino did,
dated. Side
based
2
on the
though,
fact-
I fucking love.
based on the fact that Rhino did very well with reissuing their albums, I say no to that, Harry.
I love side 2 of Soft Parade.
Yeah, Fluffy.
And
But Fluffy is the guy today. He's the realist. He
he's
says,
yeah.
"You are so wrong, Harry."
Look, there's no, Harry. Who knows what kind of PTSD is going on right now?
I don't know if Carol Kane. I don't think it would be Carol Kane, but I don't know that actually. Who played bass on "Light My Fire"?
I'll bet it was Carol Kay. I mean, just
Yeah, it could've
knowing
been her.
I think
that they
so.
were on every session
Yeah, but not.
everywhere.
They weren't really in that Wrecking Crew thing.
No, but it doesn't mean that. Oh, fault. She didn't play on any Doors.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't think they use any of the Wrecking Crew. They use other, bass players and jazz
Hey,
music.
hey, Rob, who was the real drummer on the Beatles records? I forget because it wasn't Ringo.
Bernard Purdy.
Bernard Purdy.
You're
that's
right.
Yeah. Poor guy. He doesn't even get credit on the albums.
Jerry Schiff played. Thank you, Chauncey.
That's
I
Jason
think-
Schiff's father. Jason Schiff from Chicago.
I personally, Harry, I think all
believe.
classic rock is dated. All of it. It is.
Yeah, but
Here's the
Manfred
reason
played
I
it
say-
live.
here-
but
Here's the
not in
reason I
studio.
say all. Here's the reason I say all classic rock is dated. Because no one's playing that style of music anymore. No one. No new
But
bands.
that's because corporate
playing that
radio won't play it. That's
Well,
corporate.
no.
Actually,
I mean,
hold-
there are
hold
a
off,
few
hold
bands
off.
here
Rob.
and
You're
there.
talking about no one plays music like the Doors now. There are a lot of sort of neo psychedelic younger and bands or new-ish bands of the last 20, 25 years that play things in that Doors genre, in that sort of psychedelic jammy genre. There are a lot of bands like that. They're not on the top of the charts, but there's a lot of
You're
music.
not getting any airplay.
No, they don't get airplay. You have to seek it out. It's like that album. I was playing this the other day. Remember when this came out? I forgot who turned this on to this. This is a band from Chicago, Dead Feathers. This is a great album. And I forgot, I bought this a few years ago when it came out. This is 2019. And someone on YouTube in a vinyl community showed it and I bought it. It's kind of like the Jefferson Airplane live. There's a female singer, has a little bit of a Grace Slick vibe, but it's a psychedelic record. You're not going to get this played on the radio, but this is an excellent newish record of that type of music.
I mean, okay, but a top touring band,
No,
that is new, playing that style of music.
no, because they're not selling.
They're the legacy bands.
There's
Hey,
no
people-
bands
people-
anymore. It's all solo artists.
Well, there are
Hey,
bands. You got to go to clubs like the Tractor Tavern and Numos, and you got to go to these other places.
My only point is not criticizing the music because I own that stuff.
Yeah.
It's to Harry's point where the Doors haven't held up.
Yeah.
It's classic rock.
Dan
People
B is
either
right.
fans or they're not.
Corporate radio and the labels aren't pushing those kind of. Well, think of Wet Leg. Wet Leg is huge. I mean, huge-ish. They're probably as big without getting into that next category of Britney Spears. They're a big, solid. They're a rock band. They got two women.
Never heard of them.
Wet Leg. Well, they had a pretty big album. 3 years ago?
Wet Leg.
They have a Wet Leg, and they're British. They have a new album coming out. Yeah, the new album's coming out in the next month or so.
Well,
I had a
Hold on,
wet
you have
leg
to be-
once when I
Hold on, you have to
accidentally
be
peed my
clear
pants,
because
but
Harry currently has a wet leg. Maybe
That's
two
right.
wet legs.
Wet Leg is
is
big.
that
I mean,
similar to the Dribbles?
yeah, Wet Leg is big in that world. Again, they're not like Ariana Grande and that whole the pop thing. Ish.
There are a
Hey,
lot of
hold on. I've
Jew-ish.
PB Thou, now you're here. Do you know about this Barry Owens, who's a mastering engineer? Let me know because I bought this Pink Floyd record that sounds really good, and he did it.
Yeah,
And I
Roger,
never
you're
hear
not a
anyone talk about
borderline
it.
novelty act. They have a shtick like a singer. That's like saying the Doors were a novelty act or Iggy
No,
Pop.
it
was a
isn't,
novelty-
Mazzy. Hold on. It isn't like saying the Doors were a novelty
What?
act.
Wet
It
Leg
isn't.
is not a novelty act.
No, because most people don't know who Wet Leg is. Everyone knows who the Doors
But
is.
obviously Raji
There's
does.
no novelty
Raji
act.
knows who they are apparently, and he says they're like a novelty act. They're not. They have a shtick like Blondie or
Well,
you know,
shtick goes hand in hand with
I don't
novelty.
shtick. I don't think it's a shtick. That's the wrong word. But they the lead singer has a
Style.
certain style.
Actually, hold on.
That's
Actually,
what it-
so I was listening. I didn't know John Mayer has a podcast now on Sirius,
get in line.
and he interviewed Weird
like a
Al.
Substack.
No, it's good. And he interviewed Weird Al, and John Mayer presented this theory he has that every first song from an artist is a novelty song. Like when Weird Al does a parody, those are traditionally novelty songs. He kind of makes the case that the song Weird Al's doing is a novelty song.
Mr.
It's
Jaws.
a pretty interesting theory. I suggest you go. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. It's pretty good. I'm not the biggest John Mayer fan in the world. I've seen him live. I like John Mayer. I think he's very good.
Okay, I showed this the other day.
Yeah.
It's a new record by Coco Rossi, Two Sisters, and it's a mix of rock and experimental electronic and hip hop and stuff. But they've been around 20 years, and most people don't know who they are. But I saw them twice, maybe 12 years ago in San Francisco, and they're friggin' great. And I didn't even know they had a new album out, Coco Rossi, Two Sisters, and really cool stuff. It's got a certain vibe to it, but not for everybody. They're not a rock band, but they have a lot of experimental things, a lot of beats, but really good. So there's a lot of great music out there. New music, newish. You just gotta seek it out. You're not going to get it from the radio.
Actually, I heard a new guy that people are using a song on TikTok. Sounds like ELO. Somber.
I don't know that.
Is that the guy?
I don't
It's
know
a
them.
pretty good song. It sounds like ELO to me.
Yeah,
Okay, I did
Scotty,
buy a
they
new
love-
record. This is a new album that just came out. This would, I guess you would call it Americana. I call it good country music. It's not that shitty country you hear. But this is Amy Lashley. If anybody knows who Otis Gibbs is,
Yeah.
that's his girlfriend, his partner. He produced this album. This is a really good Americana kind of an album.
Cool.
I really recommend, if you like that kind of stuff, check out Amy Lashley.
Mr.
There's a
Sticker
lot of
Mania,
great
this song-
alt country crossing with folk and newgrass records out now. A lot of music in that.
Okay, so
That's really
there's
good.
a guy. There's a guy by the name of Tom Schnabel who used to be a DJ on KCRW. I think he invented Morning Becomes Eclectic back in the 80s. He has I guess it's a song list that he puts up once a month on Spotify. So I was looking at it last night and I came across an artist by the name of Nguyen, Nguyenle, Vietnamese artist. How do you pronounce that? Nguyen.
That's funny. That
Lee, and the album is called Purple.
that's
and
the
it's a
name of the guy that
celebration.
cuts my grass when I text him. he
The
shows up.
album is called Purple, and it's a celebration of Jimi Hendrix with Michelle and Cellos on it, and a bunch of people.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Spotify.
Oh, okay.
When
So it's really, really good. You know, it's a album of crazy alternate versions of Hendrix songs. Really good, super good.
Cool. Rod Riggs brings up a guy who's doing great stuff now too. MJ Lenderman. He is a guitar based band, and he's kind of like the modern day version of Neil Young and Crazy Horse. That's the closest I would compare him to. And I haven't seen him live. I have a friend that swears by him live, but I got his last album from last year. Great record. That long guitar kind of stuff, like jams that Crazy Horse does with Neil Young. Really kind of organic, electric, like that, and it's good stuff. And he's
who's
actually
the guy that wears the mask that does the country music? Sounds like Roy Orbison.
Orville Peck.
He's playing at a Smalls Festival in Carnation, Washington.
You should go see him. He's great live. Oh, I saw when that first Sub Pop album came out, he did a in-store, like a 45-minute set at Easy Street. It was fucking amazing. I didn't buy his new album. I don't know why. It's so weird about him, because he was on Sub Pop. Then he goes to Sony and does that great album. Was it Pony, or not the one after Pony? Bronco was my favorite album of that year. And then he goes to, what is he on, Warner Brothers now? I forgot what label he's on. And he does a duet record. Like, what the fuck? He keeps changing labels and a duet record. So I didn't get it. I don't need one of those
Hey,
duet records.
so this guy
You
looks
should
like
get the
this,
Barbra Streisand duet record, though.
this
You
somber
know-
guy. Hold on, this somber guy. This is the song Undressed. Sounds like ELO. Looks like he put an album out 2 years ago. This is a single he released. Go listen to it. It's called Undressed. Sounds like ELO to me.
Okay.
Harry, I want to respond to that because, Barbra Streisand's got a new duet album coming out. Now, I'm not a Barbra Streisand fan, but she's a schmaltzy, she's a pop diva. I mean, she's not a crossover to standards and all. Everyone knows Barbra Streisand.
She was famous when she was a teenager.
Right.
So that's how long she's been famous.
And then a famous
She's
director.
like 80 years old.
Anyway, she's doing this. Her voice still sounds great. Now, I'm not a fan of that style of music, and I'm usually not a fan of these duets. And the weird thing about this, it's all duets. There's 2 songs that have come out so far. One with Paul McCartney, and there's going to be a Dylan one. I can't wait to hear
How's the
that.
song with Paul McCartney?
Well, okay, it's a song that Paul wrote called "My Valentine." He wrote for his wife Nancy, and he did an album of that. And his voice was ragged. 10 years ago when that album came out, or so, or 10 or 11 years ago. And it's a schmaltzy song with strings and everything. And I listened to it, and I actually ran it through Apple Music to my stereo, and I turned it up and blasted it 2 or 3 times. It's schmaltzy as hell. Barbara nails the song. It's a very great romantic Valentine type song. But I was really surprised because McCartney's voice, even though it's not what it was way back, it's better than it sounded in the last 10 years. His voice on that song sounds actually VG++, not mint or mint minus. So if you don't like that type of music, you're not going to like the schmaltz of it. But I was surprised how good McCartney's voice sounds, which leads me to the point that his new album he's working on, I think with Andrew Watt, which I don't really like as a producer, but could be good because his voice is better now than it has been lately.
Auto-tune?
It didn't seem auto-tune though. A process.
Now, were they in the studio or did they just send tapes back?
I don't know, but there's a picture of them together at a mic. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, but so what? I mean, shit. I mean, John Lennon's voice was processed in I Am the Walrus, okay? And Strawberry Fields.
Mazzy's voice is processed now.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm not selling on the song, and as a Beatle fan, I'll probably grab it,
No, I'm going to pass on that one, I think.
Of course you will. It's new.
You know what? After the stream's over, Harry's going to go out, him and his thumb.
But I would say anyone listen to it through a stereo, not just on a phone speaker. It actually is really well recorded.
Hold on. Can someone start an Instagram account called Harry's Thumb, please?
So the name of this band was Wet Leg. Is that it?
Yeah. And the song, what was a big hit? Someone in the comments, right?
Well, I was just saying, I think Angelo's going to do a follow-up with "Ain't Gonna Wet My Leg Tonight." I ain't gonna wet my leg.
The song you should listen. It's got a great hook. Is from 3 years ago. Is Che's Lounge. That's the name of the big hit, and it's catchy as hell.
If you get a wet leg on Che's Lounge,
Angelo's gonna sue any urine-based songs. He owns. He should have a percentage of.
And the new edition of Wet Leg is gonna be like one of those scratch and sniff records. It smells like piss.
It'll have a urine smell to it.
Yeah, but Harry, all you have to do is smell your hand. You don't have to scratch it.
Yeah, he did Good Night Tonight.
Good Night Tonight coming up. He went through a disco period like the Rolling Stones, like Queen, like Pink Floyd. Most of the big band, David Bowie, most of the big bands did a disco moment, some longer than others.
I am always floored when I hear McCarthy's version of Love to Love You. It's awesome.
Urine splattered.
What is that? Is that apostrophe?
Yeah, urine splattered.
Is that a new edition?
Don't eat yellow snow, people.
Nice.
This is the urine splattered. Yeah.
Actually, you know how fans like Carrie and Dr. Robert go to concerts with things to get signed?
Mm-hmm.
People just ask Angelo to pee on their.
Okay, can I tell story number 18? May I tell story number 18?
Well, hold on. All I care is that this is an exclusive, and it wasn't done on Marty's stream with you.
No, this was not. So I'm at the LA Weekly.
We don't want sloppy seconds here.
I'm at the LA Weekly, and there's this thing called the Interracial Dating Club of America, and the guy runs ads in my paper. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he comes in every Monday and he pays for his ad, and he's from the South.
He comes in person?
Yeah.
He would come cash? Does he give you cash?
He would pay cash sometimes.
A brown paper bag.
Wow. Something's going on there.
Yeah. So, and he was a tall, thin man. He wore a suit, black gentleman.
Is he black or white?
He was a black gentleman from the South. And so I had this lovely receptionist. Her name was Ray Stang. And she had never met this guy before. And he came in, and this woman, Ray Stang, comes into my office. Her face is white. She's panicky. And she goes, "The guy says he wants to pee on his ad." I said, "What?" She points. She goes, "That guy says he wants to pee on his ad." I don't know what to do. I look at him, I go, are you sure he didn't say he wanted to pay on his ad? And she went back down there and took his money. Bang, bang. That's a true story, folks.
Well, I like that one.
I want to pee on my ad.
What happened to Stang?
Ray, she moved back east, I think. She had a store called
She had a-
EK.
She had a sister named Mus, right?
I think she was related to the Stang that was the late night radio guy. Remember, there was a late night cuckoo radio guy in the 50s.
No, I had to be in bed by 9 a.m.
Scotty says the obvious here. Scotty says, Scott. I hope you don't mind me calling you Scotty. One of my best friends' name is Scott, and we all call him Scotty, so I'm used to it. There's a lot of good music out there. Just don't be lazy. Search it out. True. You're not going to find it on the radio. Some of the YouTubers will showcase it, but check it out. Go online, read reviews.
Schnabel's playlist, man. Other people, whatever.
Yeah, there's.
Hey, Mazzy, you probably don't watch it, but the rice fields guy.
You don't even have to ask that question.
Oh,
I don't video and I don't write.
Hold on, it was nice having Harry here. He was supplied with a list of people we don't talk about, but he's.
This is like Santa think it would win $100.
He did a video of a store in Japan that is all Beatles. That's all they sell. It was amazing, the stuff they had in that store. We're going to do our Japanese cruise. I'm going to that store. Wow. Okay. It was really amazing.
So are you going to cruise from here to Japan or pick up?
No, we're going to fly to Japan and then cruise around Japan and one stop in South Korea.
Hey, Dino, if anyone remembers Dino's a great guy. He lives here in LA. And I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I texted him. He got back to me. He said he just went on that cruise. He went on a cruise of Japan. So he seemed to enjoy it. Dino, you're here. Can you talk about it? Let me know.
Brian, Rick Beato has a new video about lack of hooks in the music. I have to agree. I disagree. I mean, that is a good example of a clickbait thing. There is a lot of music without great hooks. I agree with that. But there are a lot of hooks. You just have to find the stuff. I mean, Wet Leg has...
Mazzy's excellent at finding hookers.
No, but there are a lot of great records out that have hooks. I mean, even though it's an old artist, but a new record in the last, 6 months, Nick Lowe and the Low Straitjackets, there's hooks galore on that record. Now, that's not a new artist, but they're even with new artists.
Well, I mean, they're like Madness. Yeah. I don't think Mazzy's a big fan of Madness.
Oh, I love Madness.
But I think this year or last year, they put out a new album. And it hit the charts in England. I think it did well here. They were just here. There was a festival on the grounds of the Rose Bowl this past weekend with like Amy Mann reunited with Till Tuesday. It was a big deal. Madness played it. The Go-Go's, New Order. It was good.
I didn't see the video, Brian. So if he's talking about top 10 on Spotify, well, that's the way to get you in to watch it. And that's great. I like what he does. But like Orville Peck that they were talking about, he had a lot of great hooks. Oh, Spotify. Yeah. I mean, I would never judge stuff on Spotify. People like to listen to it.
You know what? I'm not a Spotify person. Apple Music is perfectly good for me. I like Apple.
Yeah. I mean, everything is so segmented now because, if you say.
It seems like Spotify is very polarizing because of this thing where they're putting fake songs on there. I either listen to Sirius or Apple Music.
Yeah.
That's how
the thing is, if you on any of those streaming things, if you say play, I hate to say the Eagles, play the Eagles, you'll get a lot of shit in that vein, which is great if that's the mood you want to be in. But I'd rather have them have something play me 10 different genres mixed together like FM radio DJs used to do. And I don't know if you can get that unless you pre-program your own thing. If you could say, play me a totally random genre list. Can you do that? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Beato's a smart guy and he does great stuff. I don't really watch all his videos, but I admire him and he's found
rest in peace.
He found a great thing and he does good interviews with people. And But like all these YouTubers, and you know, we're guilty of it. They do a clickbait thing to get people in. If you say, like, who just did, Darko, who does the audio reviews, he just did a video.
My last show ever.
My last show ever. And I started watching. I haven't got through it. I don't know why it's his last show, if he ever kind of resolves and says it in the video yet. But he talked about basically the problem with his shows, like the big show in Munich that just happened. He said, all the stuff isn't available. You can't buy it yet. There's no prices yet. It's almost like people testing the markets, these companies. Everything is way expensive. I mean, there are exceptions. And you can't, it's not, they don't come.
I blame it on tariffs.
That's not the way Expona is.
I don't like the way I like watching Rick Beato. I think he does good interviews, but I don't like it when he's agitated by stupid shit. Like his take is like, there's no good music anymore. That's impossible to say. He
just goes through he doesn't say that. He's more specific. He goes.
That's the clickbait part, Rob.
I
agree with you. That's the clickbait part. Then he goes
Spotify one at a time.
I mean, he needs to read the room, because the way I label Rick Beato is he's a music fan. He's a fan of music and musicians. But you can't be that and then go after some weird thing that you believe is true. That's where he
backs it up, Rob.
Yeah, he totally backs it up. It's not.
He backs it up based on his own personal belief.
No, he backs it up based on facts, information, streaming numbers,
statistics, StreamYard.
Any video we make is our opinions, and
but hold on.
You have to say it's my opinion every fucking time.
Like Wet Leg is not going to make these statistical things that he can use.
Right.
It's not. And I mean, let's be honest. I love jellyfish. I love jellyfish. Is jellyfish statistics going to meet Rick Beato's threshold? No. So it seems weird.
As much as you hate the clickbait titles and things, they get eyeballs to watch your video. It's just given, no matter who does it.
Rob has a birthday yesterday, and overnight he's an old man yelling at Rick Beato to get off his lawn.
Yeah. You know, and it pisses some people off.
Hey, at least I haven't started talking to my
Melinda. I adore Melinda. She does it too. I mean, I do it, not all the time.
Hey, don't lump the lovely Melinda Murphy in with your garbage.
No, I'm just saying. After a while, you realize.
I don't like these people because of their hair.
You don't have any, so I have to find other issues.
It's why top 10 lists and best of lists work so well too. People like it. Like exactly. I do the top 10 Pink Floyd. What's your opinion? You know, someone said to me on the Pink Floyd thing, I forgot what they said. He goes, because I didn't like one record or didn't like it as much, or it wasn't as high. Maybe it was a wall. They said, you know nothing about Pink Floyd. You know nothing about music. How dare you? Like, really? I just think that is hysterical.
Sometimes where there's holes poked in Rick Beato's when he's interviewing someone, and Rick Beato's personal experience and feelings about music and the way he labels them into his questions, the artist he's talking to usually goes, no, that's not what happened at all. So,
but yeah, Brian, I don't know you, and you're bringing up some great stuff here. So I'm responding to you because you're great stuff. You wish a vinyl community would have more of an ounce of technical musical knowledge. I understand that, and there are some people that do. I am not a musician. I play really shitty, so I'm coming from a listener's point of view. Rick Beato is a musician, was a musician in the studio, I guess, and all that. So he can do that, and he's made it his.
But if the world was all like that, Brian, then it'd be boring to hear. Yeah, I mean, look, I have no problem saying that that's a stupid take. That's my prerogative of saying that's a stupid take. But I am different than other people. So to put that label on people that are generally just fans, you got to label the vinyl community, we're fans. This is a distraction. Participating in this is a distraction from our regular lives.
It's like that guy. It's like that guy.
Don't put all the power in the vinyl community. There's a lot of idiots.
I don't watch his videos, but I do subscribe. He makes more videos than I do, and I make a lot. He makes like 6 a day. That guy Andy Edwards, former musician, I guess. and he's making all the, and his every friggin' title is clickbait. Now, I'm not
Well,
dissing him. I'm just saying he
well,
does the
let,
clickbait. He goes on these
Mazzy,
rants, and
here,
he's a musician. Does he talk about the music part of it too?
here, Brian, here's a better way to look at this whole nonsense, because I do teach a class on the experience I've learned in
Oh, you
over 4
sound like
years.
in Annie Hall. I happen to teach a
No,
class
no,
on
no.
motion
But
fluent.
here, but again, applying what I did professionally for almost 30 years, this is really what YouTube is. The subject matter you talk about is so secondary. It is. It's you as a personality that is the number one thing. So Rick Beato, number one, is a personality. The subject he talks about is secondary. So I would like to see the percentage of people that have a technical knowledge of the subject Rick Beato is talking about is very minimal. He is a YouTube personality first. He is a guy who's a studio musician guy, very secondly, far second. That's
Now,
a better way to look at this. So to put the label, put the request or the demand on vinyl community people that have an opinion is ridiculous.
well,
We
but
are fans. We are fans of this genre of YouTube. We can criticize him as a person who's expressing his opinion, whether we agree with it or not. That's a better way to look at all of
yeah.
this.
Well, Rick
Thank
Beato does serve a purpose, and he does it really well. People who
you.
want to know behind the scenes stuff, he's a great channel for that type of stuff. And he's excellent. His production value is great. He's done it long enough and built a following huge that he has a staff, maybe not a big staff, but he can produce the big videos, and all the power to him. I mean, I'm envious, not jealous, because I would never be that big and do that kind of stuff. You do what you do, and organically it happens, or it does happen,
Well, I
or it
mean,
doesn't happen.
to be fair about Mazzy, no, I'm no Mazzy fan. But to be fair with Mazzy, he's the example I use. Everyone gets into doing the vinyl community YouTube with the intention that they think they can do it better than Mazzy. Here's the failing thing. They don't have a personality for it. They're not in some way likable where people want to watch their videos and them talk. So
I
whatever
mean,
you think.
Harry is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Well, he's
Of what?
Harry's
I wasn't
like a
listening.
wet,
Rob was
a wet
talking.
claw.
What was he?
Never. He doesn't pay attention.
Nothing.
But I'm being serious. So the better example is how many of these people, how many people do you see that just don't stick to this?
Yeah.
It's because they don't have the personality to come on here and talk. So whether you like me or not, I have some sort of personality. No one here gets it, including me. But I'm just letting you
Brian,
know.
I understand what you're saying, and that's totally right. If you want people to talk about the musicality and the music side and the production side and that technical side, sometimes people like, and I agree with you that just endlessly showing disposable income, I think that's a cheap shot. And I agree with you though when someone says, "Oh, yesterday I went to the store and I bought this, and yesterday I went to the store and I bought this." And
Have you listened to it yet? No.
I try not to do that.
Someone should teach you how to show records.
But sometimes the story behind it, sometimes, like in my case, I don't have the musical knowledge like that, and I have very little of it. And so I'm not going to try to fake that. I'm not going to look it up on Wikipedia and say they use SM mics and all this, this kind of shit. Or he goes from a minor to a major key halfway through. That's not me. To me, it's the story, my history of when I saw the band, the artist, how it compares to something else. As it's kind of like how many, whether you don't like critics or not, or reviewers, or there are some shitty critics historically and some great ones. If Lester Bangs certainly doesn't have a musicality type of thing, but he had a certain personality, or and or Dave Marsh,
Mazzy, Brian, and I'm not bashing you, Brian. I think what you're asking is fair, but think about it this way. A lot of people like schmucks today in this stream, the jazz bums. The whole point of the jazz bums are people that have come to jazz recently and are learning about it.
To learn about it. It's a journey.
It's a journey. So we all have music in our lives. It's just that if you're someone of the 20th century who have ways of music mass coming to you through radio or other means. We all subconsciously understand and know music. Articulately, it's hard for people to express all that. But just because someone did it professionally for their adult life, you're putting him on a pedestal that he has all this knowledge. But I'm almost positive there is one genre that Rick Beato knows zero about. Because
Well, not
he's a
everybody
human.
can know everything. I mean,
Yeah,
of
he
course.
can't know everything,
Listen,
but
Mazzy is the
to be
wealth of
fair,
knowledge.
hold on. To be fair to Brian, you like Rick Beato. I get it. And that's how you hold him in esteem. So I understand that. That's all.
Can you put my comment up there? I'm trying to get more subs.
8647. I'm trying to get to 200.
But you don't make
220.
videos. You don't make videos.
Well, so what?
Hey, hey, Peepster, I haven't figured out if you're a troll or not. So I don't so far your comments are bizarre to me.
I think
I can honestly tell you this. If you look at the analytics from YouTube, at least 40% of the people who watch me don't subscribe to me. So I don't know.
You know,
I
that
don't
is
know
always
how
the
to-
case. It's
I don't
amazing.
know how to label that. All I can tell you is right now, factually, 179 people are watching. That's more than 5. So apparently there are a lot of people who want to distract themselves from their shitty life and shitty day are here to watch us talk. Thank
God,
you.
you're
All
so
right.
pathetic, Rob, how you treat your audience.
No, I'm just going by me. Outside of the YouTube, it's a pretty shitty life for me.
I subscribe to Jim and unsubscribe from Harry. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not. I enjoy Rick Beato. I don't watch him as much as
No.
videos and stuff. But every once in a while, he'll come across or interview someone that I really want to watch, and I appreciate that. You know, and it's easy to knock people when they get, bigger. And why does that person? Why is he or she bigger than other people?
I like watching Rick Beato's interviews. I
People
don't like it.
latch
I don't
on to
watch
people.
I like
standalones.
People watch
Beato's OnlyFans. That's good.
People
Yeah.
watch any of us because I'd say content is probably only half, but after a while, they either like or dislike the personality of the person, and they latch on, they watch the videos, or they move on. They don't care for them,
If we wanted
Rick
to make some
Beato's
money
son is
here,
amazing with his ear training.
You
Hey,
you made it when you have a handful of trolls that troll you where you were not. And Rob and I definitely have a handful of those kind of trolls.
Let's think about Rick's stupid comment here. And it is stupid. Rick's, I do 2 live streams a week on my own. I join the Jazz Bums. So that leaves most of my life not being on YouTube. Do you understand that? Do you get it? I'm mostly not on YouTube.
look, I do this twice a week, and it's way too much.
I know. He'd rather be out feeding the pig.
No, I was just playing when I had the when I was mutated, the new absolutely free that I just got from Harry's Music Room. It's plays, man. It plays.
Those
I
are
would
good.
put-
Good.
I
I,
would-
was a little worried about the way it
How many
looked, but they said it
thumbprints?
was
It's
like
a little
good.
rough, but it plays. It plays.
How many thumbprints were on it?
I gave it the full Kermis and the Humming Guru.
Yeah.
So it's
And I
clean.
humming guru'd it before I shipped it to you.
Did you?
Hey, Matt says a good thing. He did a video on his new tube amp. Got 7,400 views. He's got 220 subscribers.
Who's this?
Matt Bastardson. That's the kind of thing. If you do something like the Humming Guru videos we've done, usually get good views.
What kind of an amp?
When you do a new amp or a new gear, speaker gears, reviews, people because when you're looking for speakers, people will watch every
I think
fucking
gear gets more views than
Oh,
records.
definitely. People like room tours. You do a room tour, and if you, angle
room
it,
tour is my
You
biggest
know what
video.
Matt, in us in the business call that evergreen content, meaning that amp review, that amp will be around and people are looking for amp reviews always. So that type of video will continue to get views.
yeah.
But that building a channel around that is the biggest nut to
And
crack.
even though I was kind of joking earlier, you know what gets big views? IKEA hacks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Harry, you have to run that by my producer before you show it.
You want to get 100,000 plus views, a few 100,000. Do a IKEA. I'm thinking of people are always asking me about my storage bins in my room, and they're IKEA Bondi.
Mazzy's feet OnlyFans.
So, so you guys know Uwe, my friend Uwe. He's got an Iron Maiden short that has 132,000 views.
When did he post it? How old is it?
I don't know when.
It says
well,
right there.
you know why it has that much? Because it's evergreen content. Iron Maiden's a big band that people are always fans of.
2 years ago he posted it. That's a lot of views for him.
Harry, pull up the comments. Pull up the comments.
I can't. He just sent me a screenshot of the picture of it.
Is it Uwe? When's the most recent comment on your video? If it's recently, it's evergreen content. People are going to always find stuff like that to watch.
I'm going to do at some point, I have an idea, an IKEA video. It won't be a hack video, but it's going to be related to the record collector. And it's not Calyx. I don't have any Calyx, but I think I need to do an IKEA.
But Mazzy, everyone can say this. Generally, if you people are even just casually make videos for your channel, the one video everyone can do that will get a ton of views is a record store day video.
Yeah.
For some reason, when you do that, you show the line you were waiting in, you show the records you picked up.
Absolutely.
You will get, that is not evergreen because it's tied to a particular record store day, but that's a go ahead, sure way to get a lot.
And there's certain bands, like you said, Iron Maiden. You do a Pink Floyd video, and if it's the right video, you get a ton. Certain Beatle videos.
But those are. Here's the thing about those type of bands: when a teenager is coming into their own in music, they're going to find Pink Floyd, they're going to find the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. That's the only way those bands can continue to sell music, is if new people come and find them, right?
Fluffy, I need to do Mazzy at IKEA video. I got to figure it out. A day at IKEA.
I'm waiting for Harry.
Sell a turntable there.
Supposedly,
they used to. Hey, I'm waiting for Harry to do. I'm waiting for Harry to do his padded room tour. When are you going to do that one, Harry?
You got to go on a weekday when they open because it's not crazy. Don't go on a weekend.
When I get out of this straitjacket, I'll do it.
I'm almost. Can I do my? I'm going to do my imitation of Mazzy doing a IKEA tour. I can't find the place. This is like a maze.
Do you remember? No, there was that.
Get out of here.
Do you remember a few years ago, pre-pandemic, there was a performance artist, and I can't remember if it was YouTube or what.
Spent the night in IKEA.
He spent like a month. He lived in IKEA for a month, and nobody knew it. Apparently, I don't know how the fuck he did that. The IKEA people didn't know it.
I'd like to see a video of a Calyx shelf falling on you, Rich.
Wow, that's
IKEA Mazzy will be big. Dark. Okay. Yes,
Mazzy, let's do a VC challenge or out there to anyone. Everyone post an IKEA video going into an IKEA and walking around. I'll do it.
I think I should do next week. I should do an IKEA whack-a-mole. I'm not quite sure how it'll work out, but and what would I pull? You know.
Hey guys.
All right, we got a real bum.
Wow, somebody with real musical knowledge.
Hey, can everyone, before Mike talks, can everyone on screen say what Mike's probably going to be talking about?
Substack.
Well, I was just thinking you guys were talking about clickbait.
I'm talking about IKEA.
Obviously, people want their videos to be viewed, but you also don't want to make videos that are just for the purposes of you. Like, if you're going to spend time in making these videos, or at least when I do, I want to make it about something that I actually care about. So making like a top 10 video just because I know it'll do well is, it's something you can do, but like, do I really want to spend a few hours thinking this through or whatever? Rather do something that may not be as or whatever it is, whatever time when I have to kind of think it through, especially with Felipe and Chris, like, would we rather just talk about something we're all passionate about? And if it just doesn't do as well, who cares type thing. So there is like a balance. Like we can all like do the thing
But-
where every video is a clickbait, but like, do we even like, do I want to talk about that stuff? I don't
what
know.
if what if 1 out of 4 was clickbait? And out of the clickbait, 6 of those guys became regulars. I mean, if I put a sexy broad on the cover of my paper, more people will pick it up. But maybe because it's a sexy.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
But maybe some of them will keep reading it.
Have you ever put a sexy broad on your cover?
Have you ever put a woman on the cover?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever put anyone except for a man.
Have you ever put a 900 number ad in there?
Have you ever peed on one
But
of
I
your
used
covers?
to have weed stores. I used to have weed stores. I had a few.
Mike is right. Mike is correct on this, but whenever I've done clickbait type ads, the content to me, at least in my opinion, always backs it up. I'm not doing it for the sake of doing a clickbait ad. I get an idea and I run with it. Like even the thing I did about I'm not buying any smelly, muddly, old used. There's a truth to that because I went to a record store and I bought these 4 or 5 new records, and it was really nice opening up a new record. And now I obviously have the advantage of for 60 years I've been buying new records. Yes, I have. Someone asked me what percentage. I'd say maybe 25 to 30% of my records are used. But those records were new when I bought them, most of them, and they were bought cheaper in many cases than they're being sold for today. So it wasn't like, someone said, oh, you must be some rich guy because you're buying new vinyl today. Everything's overpriced. Well, some is. And I bought, I know you might say this is overpriced. It's a $24 new artist record, record. I think that in 2025 is a reasonable price. I mean, in Seattle, that's like an hour and a half minimum wage. You could buy that record.
Hey, Big Toasty, no women watch this stream. My analytics say so.
Exactly.
Sexy broad. I'm sorry, I watched a Sinatra thing. Sinatra in Palm Springs. You ever seen that documentary?
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
I got a little too into it. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But his wife, what was his wife's name? Margaret? What was her name?
Oh, Barbara.
Barbara. She was a broad. She was awesome.
Is that anything like the documentary Rock Hudson in Palm Springs?
No, Rob.
Is Frank related to Nancy Sinatra?
No.
Herc, I want to bring up Herc's comment. You should bring it up. But his promo vinyl compromising the VC, that was a live stream clickbait title that didn't even work behind it. Just the guy put it on just to kind of be an asshole about it. And that makes no sense whatsoever. It's a guy is pissed off that he's not getting his own promo records.
But okay, so I do get some promo records.
No, I know Herc. Someone
not as much as Mazzy. But let's take Mazzy for instance. The guy has when he's here on this stream and most other live streams, and even in his own videos, Mazzy can be self
deprecating.
Yes. I can't imagine that if you've watched Mazzy for as long as he's made videos, the fact that he's getting free records has changed the way he acts. You have to be the stupidest fucking idiot in the world to have that take.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think Herc said, though. I understand what you were saying, Herc. I didn't blame you. I know who you're referring to, because that was apparently yesterday, the day before, someone did a live stream and used that, and who they're aiming at, that type of thing. I'm not going to even mention who.
Well, but I mean,
but I've been getting records on and off for 40 years. Promo.
Yeah, let's be fair, Mazzy. If you're an angry, upset person, I promise it comes through in the way you present yourself here. Again, my number one thing is it's the personality of the person first. It's what they talk about very secondary. If I could pronounce words, I'd probably be bigger channel than I am. But that really is it. If you make your content with disdain, it comes through. In anger and hate, it comes through.
Well, look at this. Okay, let's talk about the jazz bombs, for instance. I don't know
They make
why.
their
And maybe
own
they are.
record.
Every friggin' label that puts out jazz should be sending the jazz bums collectively or what, promos.
Actually, they do. They do. So
Okay, well, good.
don't worry
And
about
that they should. That is an outlet that, I'm sorry, as much as you like these stereophile and this and that, who fucking reads these stereo magazines anymore on a larger scale that buys records, not just gear? Now, I know that's probably
Well, the
me.
thing of it is, Mazzy, a hell of a lot more than watch our channels.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Maybe
What
I'm
do you
wrong.
think?
You know?
What do you
I
think?
mean,
that
There
this-
was a
I'll
time
say-
when a Lester Bangs or a Dave Marsh or
well,
Ralph
those things are
Fleece,
gone.
when
Those are gone.
they were gods, and you would trust and
well,
buy everything that Dave
can I
Marsh
give you
said.
can I give you a good a point to what you're talking about? There's a very prominent record reviewer, music reviewer, who has a very successful podcast where he does not talk about music. That's that he does it with the guy from Everyone Loves Raymond. He doesn't. So what are you telling me? That guy's a very well established music critic and writer,
Well,
and he doesn't do it.
for I'll just speak for my own self. Over the past like month or two, I've probably gotten like 5 or 6 promos in, and I've done, of those, 2 of them I thought were, I love them, so I did reviews on those. The other ones I didn't. So one way, I don't, everything I get I don't review, and that's not to say that it's not good or it doesn't sound good. It's just, for me, I'm just not the right person to speak about it. So that's one thing that I've kind of learned over the years. And then also, a lot of the jazz stuff is coming from small labels, like the craft, like reissues. Like, I don't get those. It would be great. Yeah, I'd love to get those, but the small, like, independent ones, like this guy from France reached out to me with a small label. They only pressed 500 records. They said, "Do you want a promo?" I streamed it. I thought it sounded great, so I did a review on it. And I was just curious, so I was watching his Bandcamp numbers after I published my review, and I sold a few of them. And there's only 500, so like in that instance, it really was nice that somebody connected him with me to do that, because it worked out pretty nicely. I enjoyed doing that. And the thing, like Mazzy, when I was saying like a couple hours, this stuff really does eat up hours of the day. And at first, I feel like it was so fun to do, and it's just like I had so much time to do it, and I would review anything and just do anything, just because I was just enjoying the newness of it, and it was really just fun to get attention and all this stuff. But the longer I do it, the more choiceful I am in terms of where I want to spend my listening time and just time in general. And I feel like I could actually make a bigger impact if I'm just a little bit more thoughtful about how I contribute.
Hold on, Brian. Have you watched the Jazz Bums? They interviewed Charles Tolliver's son, who's leading all this. They did a video. Well, 2 of them, right?
We did so. Yeah.
So, and on the live streams, and me, I mean, I'm showing them, but the VC jazz people that talk about jazz have all talked about these.
Yeah.
Do we talk about Fremer talking about these? No, I don't. But I'm talking about them, so I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't know how big the VC jazz.
Well, he's not talking about Fremer. He's talking about those specific reissues.
No, he's talking. Well, we're all talking about them. They're excellent. They're there are only 4 that have come out so far.
I'm with Mike. I'm not we're not. I don't consider myself a reviewer. I'll give you my opinion, but I probably show a third on my channel of the promos I get. There's a lot that they don't speak to me. Sometimes that sounds, I know, cliche and everything, but it has to work for me on some level. Okay. There was that one jazz. I don't remember what it was. I got, there was one publicist that sent me these 3 jazz records, independent. The guy that, God, do I have it here?
See, look how many they've sold. Hey, stop sending them to Mazzy, guys.
I don't have it handy.
He doesn't even have it handy.
It's downstairs.
Friday
Part of
night,
sending-
Brian, 5 o'clock Pacific, I think. Isn't that
Yeah.
Jazz Bums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
Anyways,
they post other videos all the time.
yeah, the worst thing is when, not the worst thing, but sometimes an artist will send you something and you just don't dig it. you don't like it for whatever reason, and I can't show a video just because some nice musician sent me a record, and you have to just say, no, it's not really my thing, or whatever. Or you want to respond something, or you don't. Maybe when a publicist sends you, it's like I found when I was a photo agent representing my 8-9 photographers, when we didn't get a gig or someone didn't get their style, it was easy for them to tell me, because I'm not the artist. I'm not the creator. I'm in a way the middleman, and I'm the one that has to tell my artist, I'm sorry you didn't get that gig. They didn't really think your work was appropriate this time. But now, when an artist sends me something directly, it's harder to deal with that. When a label sends you,
Do you want me to do that for you, Mazzy? I would do that.
Yeah.
I had a guy send me a piece of equipment to review, and then he bought 2 big fucking ads. And I couldn't give it a good review, man. It was just stupid. It was stupid. And so I haven't heard from him. I don't think he was happy with me.
Yeah,
he asked for the thing back though.
But it's when it's a larger label and you get something, it's a major release. And if there's issues with the pressing or with the record, or you don't like it, that's okay. And that's easy. If Sony puts out 20 records, and if you really don't like something, I'm going to tell you the problems with it. I mean,
don't you think it's that people get a truer picture when they watch maybe 10 videos on that record than one person's review?
Yes.
Sure. And but also if you watch people over and over again, whether it's me or Fremer or Mike or Rob, whoever, you get sort of to understand their taste.
Yeah.
And so like there was reviewers when I was growing up, there were certain reviewers I would read, and if they had reviewed some album that they loved that I had never heard of, if I trust that writer, I'd go out and buy the record without, you couldn't preview them in those days.
And which label it was on had a lot to do with what I bought too.
Yeah, Warner Brothers was a label that I just loved, that they would stick with artists for 10 albums, without dropping them back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, Little Feat, So Lucky.
Yeah, Ry Cooder, Randy Newman.
Man, Randy Newman, I saw a video of him recently. He's looking his age, but he's still
got
great.
Some major back, neck, eye issues now.
I'm so glad I got to see him many years ago.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a national treasure.
Randy Newman?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, who can forget Short People?
Well, see, it's kind of like Lauren Zevon. People, all they remember is Werewolves of London.
That wasn't really what that was about, man.
Or I Love LA, but yeah.
It's hard to not think a song called Short People is not about short people when he says short people all throughout the fucking
got
song.
No reason to live.
You got little tiny fingers.
Yeah. Such a good song. Really is.
He says things in his songs that most people couldn't get away with.
Well,
he writes
stuff is so
he
good.
writes from the point of view of the storyteller, and people don't realize it's not him. He's writing
when he
about
writes a song that's heartbreaking, it's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can be hysterical.
I love the song Cowboy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was the one song when I saw him live. I said, man, I hope he played. And he did. He played it.
Nielsen covered that on Nielsen Sings Newman, that album. It's so good. So beautiful.
No, short people are not. Short people
they're not. I hang out with Jim a lot. That dude is weird.
Beep, beep, beep.
That's funny.
Hey, oftentimes when I'm with Jim, I go up here. You have to look up here.
Rob's always banging into shit. Oh shit!
Rob's going, hey, my eyes are up here. My dick's down here.
You gotta look.
Thanks for going deep on that one.
Really? Is it?
Why do you have a magnifying glass?
Because I can't see shit, man.
Can I let everyone know a helpful hint? Magnifying glass right here.
Very nice.
but it doesn't have a. Well, I had one here somewhere.
Hey, I understand you're doing some extracurricular thing, Mike. What is that?
What's that?
You have an extracurricular thing going on.
Substack? Is that what you're referring to?
Really? Tell us about it.
It's just another thing that eats my time.
See, the difference is you have a full-time job too. I don't anymore.
Yes.
So I don't know how you do it.
Like every week I tell myself I'm not going to live stream on Friday, and then Friday comes around and I live stream. But like, I feel like I'm always trying to be protective of my time the longer I do this. And you know, it's hard because it like I said, it does eat hours out of the day, and I have other stuff to do.
I've been doing this shit for 2 hours this morning. I could have been napping. I could have been
feeding the pig.
I mean, again,
I could have been.
But that's also
something
why
going on
I
in
do
the
feel like
backyard.
when I do find something I like to write about or make a video about or have stuff to show on the live stream, it's because I really like, I truly love it. Like I want to talk about it. I want to research it for myself, and then I want to share it with people. So I'm not like ever at a loss of finding something to talk about, because it's usually just wherever, like Mazzy, you said, it's like your journey. It really is like, you know, where I'm focused on currently. And then I just, you know, try to communicate that to everybody. And I know a lot of people aren't into the same stuff I am, but I feel like, Rob, to your point, it's about like the charisma, the personality. People get to know your taste. Like you were saying, Mazzy, like when you think of a reviewer, the longer you're looking for reviews and paying attention to reviewers, you get to understand what their angle is, what they care about. So like when I review an old bebop record is going to be different than if Felipe reviews it, because I'm obsessed with that. Like that's like my favorite thing ever. And if you watch the channel, you'll know that. So I feel like when I review like a trio record from JMI that's in the vein of bop, I bring that passion there, and that's why I want to review it, because to me that's the new stuff that I like. As opposed to other stuff that I'm sent that I'm not particularly interested in.
Yeah, if I go record shopping with, let's say, Wax and Kimbo says, "Hey, you should get this psychedelic record, you know, and it's reasonable price, I'll buy it." If Rob says you should get this record, no way in hell I'm going to buy it. So you trust people or you don't.
That's a better way to. That's a better way to say it.
I can tell you one thing, okay? So I hooked Mazzy up with my friend at Omnivore. And I think generally what Omnivore puts out is in Mazzy's wheelhouse. They reissue kind of mostly rock from the 60s into the 80s and stuff like that. They do have one record.
Francois Hardy comp was great.
Well, you're right.
Are
they
they
do
doing
have one.
America?
Hold on. Yes, they do have one record coming out that Mazzy has refused. They're doing Christopher Cross's album. They're doing a reissue with an extra disc.
Yeah, I did refuse it, and
See, I'll buy that.
Right, but it has an extra disc with demos and songs that weren't released and stuff like that.
He's a great guitar player.
But that record, so that record's probably one of the best-selling records ever. So
yeah, it totally. That doesn't mean it. You know, there's another label which I'm not going to mention.
You can find it in the bins for $1.
Yeah, there's a label that's supposedly going to send me a
They're
record. There's a record that a audiophile label may send me because I'm on this list, and I don't want them to send it to me. Really, I probably should say up front, please don't send it to me because I don't really like that artist, and it's a big deal for them. And I know other people are gonna, and I'm not the one, and I don't want to. I should probably just write them and say, hey, please keep me off that one. But I just
what artist?
I got news for you, Mazzy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't tell them.
I'm surprised MoFi doesn't send promos out. Do they?
I think Melinda is the only person I know that gets some.
Are you still getting all of Chad's stuff, Mazzy?
I don't get any of Chad's stuff.
I know.
Well, actually, that's not true. In fact, I have a video dropping in 10 minutes, but a third of them were promos. The rest I bought, and I'm doing a overview, which I think is one of the sleepers reissue labels from Kraft, and Michael know about it. But is the Obese, the Bluesville series. They're fucking awesome. And it's parallel in a way with OJCs. OBCs were Bluesville from 59 to 66, but they're expanding it because they're doing all the other blues related labels that Kraft owns now. And they're excellent. And those are in cooperation with Chad, with Acoustic Sounds, Analog Productions. And I think, and they're $33, $32, whatever. And I think Chad has curated that excellently. I give shout outs, kudos to Chad when he does stuff like that.
Preach it, brother.
That's a good segue because Jim and I will see Chad tonight.
That's right.
We'll see Chad. Chad's in town because
he's doing an
event. He's doing an event, 3 events this week here in LA, where he's demoing his newest releases. We're going to Common Wave, which is in downtown LA. Right. But here in Santa Monica, tomorrow and Thursday, he's doing an event here at the Record Salon or the Salon. That is the biggest. That's the high end of high end stores here in LA, and that's right near me. But I have to work tomorrow and the next day, so I can't go to those. But tonight, hopefully, there'll be a confrontation between me and Chad.
Oh, you're not? Are you going to introduce yourself?
Are you going to bring gum?
I'm not going to force any introduction.
You think he'll remember you?
Matt, come on, Mazzy. I'm the waxed. I'm as memorable as they come.
From the famous video.
I'm hoping he walks away in disgust like Michael Fremer did. And apparently Michael Fremer doesn't even remember the incident.
Yeah, I got a feeling might mean a lot more to you than it does to them.
Right. How many sweaty, middle-aged old nerds do these guys have to deal with every day of their life?
That's all their customers. That's all of us. What are we going to do?
Yeah, get him to autograph one of his boxes from Mazzy.
Well, if he has a copy, there's a Mingus title that he put out. I don't even have a version of it. I might pick that up. We'll see.
I have $120 credit at his store.
Get those Bluesville records.
I was thinking of maybe getting the Buena Vista Social Club or something like that.
That'd be good. Yeah. That's a good one.
So, Elliot, listen, you and I talk too long. I just wanted to say that. And there's a program for people like us. I've had problems.
I have the Speaker's Corner version, but there's talking on it. There's the guy from the Christmas
That's what
story.
I like about it. I love that part of it.
You know?
All right, I have something in the mail. Do you mind if I unbox it real quick?
Ooh.
As long as there's no nudity. I know how much porn you get delivered.
Rob, the guy that does the narration on this, is he the same one from Christmas Story?
Yes,
it's Gene Shepard who wrote a Christmas Story.
All right, so this one, the jacket is in like G+ condition, but the record's like a $100 record that I got for less than half that. This is Mary Lou Williams Zoning. So the record's supposed to be in near mint condition, but the jacket's pretty jacked up. But
I have that. That's an excellent record. And Mike, that's a huge departure from the stuff you normally hear from her.
I've been streaming it. I really enjoy it.
It's more modern. It's a more kind of modern sound. It did come out. It's on her own label.
Okay, it's definitely not near mint, but it looks pretty decent. I'll put it in the ultrasonic. Hopefully it plays all right.
If you find a copy of that record, guys, buy it. It's really good.
Yeah, so this is on her label, Mary Records.
Yeah.
There. And from what I thought it sounded avant-garde. Like stylistically, I thought it, I thought
she also has a record on Steeplechase that's quite good because she was around at the beginning.
Yeah. It's called
stuff she plays is bop, right?
Yeah, well, she plays swing, really. I mean, old swing and
but
bop.
in the later 60s, she ventured into playing avant-garde music.
But that Steeplechase, it's called Something Free. I forget the name of it, but that is really good. And it's a solid.
It's currently in press. They repressed it, so you can get the Steeplechase one.
But this one is So for people who aren't familiar, Mary Lou Williams is a I don't know, seminal piano player that influenced, you know, Charlie Parker, Bud Powell, a number of you know, innovators. She was a mentor to them. So she has a number of recordings from the mid 40s, some in the 50s, and then this one. When is this, Rob? Is this 70s?
74, 70
And this
what?
one's really cool. So I'm really happy to get this.
That's more kind of modern sounding.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a departure, but I really enjoyed it from what I sampled.
Yeah. But again, Notes and Tones knows way more than I'll ever know. So
yeah,
I have a
9
live
o'clock,
CD.
bye. 9 o'clock. Bye.
Okay, see you. Don't want to be you. Well, I appreciate everyone coming up today. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone expressing their views. People in the new people that have joined us in the Peanut Gallery, I appreciate it. Everyone go have a great day. And you'll hear Jim and I's recap on Thursday morning about